All right, how's everyone doing? I'm Rich CELENZA. Thanks for tuning into the Rich CELENZA Show. Hopefully the audio's not too bad. I'm on the road again, heading to home sweet home Chicago. I like doing some of these podcasts when I drive. I have no interruptions, and my mind is very clear, and stuff just fluently comes out of me. Don't know why. Maybe it's because I spent the majority of my life on the road driving or flying, either one. So what I want to get in today is dating is for amateurs. And I know what you're probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? So I have a program out called Mastering Self-Confidence. It is a blueprint to try to help men find the woman or women of their dreams. It's based off my book, Wingman, which was the ultimate guide to helping men find the woman of their dreams. And I've been getting hit up more and more. How come I don't talk more about the program on the podcast? Why don't I put more videos up regarding the program? So I'm going to start doing that. Hopefully this helps you. If you're not interested in, this category, I get it. This just may not be for you. But I'm also going to be talking about, in between this, fashion, fitness, hygiene, other things as well. When I was doing the podcast, I was kind of blending it for everybody a little bit, trying to get into many different areas that I wanted to help people in. If I was able to help them, maybe I didn't help you. Maybe you disagree with everything I said. But in my podcast, I want it to be silly too and get nuts. I'm interviewing people here and there when I have the chance. I'm just traveling a lot again, so I haven't had that opportunity. But nonetheless, here we are regarding dating. And I did a podcast not long ago, and I got in a little beef regarding what her beliefs regarding dating, which I think dating when you first meet a woman, or the way we were programmed, is entirely outdated. My program gets into this, but I structure it differently. I actually show you what I believe works best when meeting a woman, and then how to progress from there into dating eventually, because eventually you're going to be going on dates. I'm not saying that dating is out. That's ridiculous. What I'm saying, when you first meet a woman, you don't have to go out and take them on a date by any means. And I don't even think that's the best way to learn about that woman, right? And this is one of the things I go through with Mastering Self-Confidence. And a lot of men carry all this pressure that if they find a woman or see a woman or message a woman or whatever, it has to lead to something at the end, right? Like me asking them out, or me doing this or that. It's all bullshit. You don't have to do anything, my friend. When you meet a woman, I talk about this all the time, all you're there to do is feel her out. You want to see if she's a cool chick. That's it. And I don't care how beautiful she is. And I don't care how much money she has. I don't care how popular she is. I don't give a shit about any of that. She's just another human being like you are. And I talk about this, don't be a fan. Look at everybody as an equal. And I get sometimes you're like, don't get me wrong, you run into a beautiful woman, a 9 or a 10, and you may be like, shit, I don't want to let this one go. I want to get her number, and I want to get her on a date, and I want to impress her. I want to be with her, whatever the case may be. I get it. Do your thing. There's exceptions to every rule, but in this case, what I tell men is all you're doing is trying to figure out, can I trust this woman? Is she a cool chick? Tons of men make the mistake of jumping to conclusions, especially when they first meet a woman, because the reality is they're performing, and so are you. It's for the most part not exactly how you two are. You're both talking a certain way, you're acting a certain way, because you're two strangers, right? It would just be like if I'm in an airport talking to somebody, guy or girl, I have a different disposition than if I'm talking to my buddies, right? Or a colleague. It's different. We have to acknowledge that. So they're different, you're different at this moment in time, which is fine. But back to you, meeting this woman, in this case, dating. What we want to do, even, is pretend, and I talked about this, I did a whole thing on a podcast regarding this, is like, even if you're not in a relationship, be as comfortable as if you were in one. Do not be desperate, I call it. If you're desperate when trying to find women you've lost, you're done, forget it, throw yourself in a garbage can. Same with women. I could pick off women that are desperate in 10 seconds. This goes for men and women. Learn to chill out. And you know what, women too? If you see a dude you like, go talk to him. Again, you don't have to ask him out. You don't have to ask to connect with them on every social media or whatever the hell that is. Just talk to them. Men have no problem for the most part if you just talk to them and you're cool, right? If they are arrogant and blow you off, fuck them. That's what I would say to them. Any woman that comes up to you that's cordial and polite, I can assure you most men are going to be very polite back and very nice and very respectful. Again, if they're not, you're either in a bad environment where you're around a lot of jag-offs, or he's a jag-off. Same with women. And I get it, guys. You've been rejected constantly by a lot of women. But a lot of times you were rejected in environments where they're kind of in a spotlight position, I call it. So you probably were in nightclubs, bars, parties. You also got to realize a lot of times you may have been drunk, high, acting like an asshole yourself, or you may have randomly, is that the word, randomly? I think so. Jump them, where you made them feel awkward, you're getting too close, you're whispering in their ear, stupid pickup lines. I don't know what the hell you were doing, but most likely it sucked, I can assure you, most of the time. And one of the things I teach in my Mastering Self-Confidence program is learn to chill out. That goes for if you just met a woman or if you've known her 10 years. Women want to feel safe. If they feel safe around you, you're golden. I don't care if you're dating them or not. If you're a cool dude that they know respects them and wants to protect them if anything goes down, that can even be a stranger. Okay? Even if you just met a girl and something goes down, she wants to know you kind of got her back. That doesn't mean you got to take a bullet for her or anything like that. She just knows you're a genuinely good guy. Right? Because it's not easy being a woman. You don't know how many asshole men are out there and what they're going to do, especially when they're drunk. It's just a reality. Let me get some more water here. So, now, back to dating. When you meet a woman, you just want to socialize. You want to build a friendship, not a relationship. You immediately need to think, I'm throwing her into the friend zone. That's just how you have to think. Do you have to put her there? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. But we're never going to put her in a position where I'm in love with you or I'm in a spell. What is that going to do for you? Now you're acting like a lunatic, or you're acting weird. And believe me, they can pick it up. You just want to see, again, what type of woman is she? How does she kind of behave? Also, even if she has a boyfriend, or even if she's dropping hints that she's not even interested really at all, but you still have a conversation going, that's cool in the game. Because the truth is, you become friends with her. I talk about this all the time, and she thinks you're cool. Again, guess what she's going to do? She's going to keep introducing you to other women. You may not be her style, or vice versa. Who cares? Okay? Also, 5-6 months down the line, who knows? She may be broken up with her boyfriend, or maybe she never had one and she was just feeling you out. Okay? You got to think about all these things. And it's very simple. All you're there to do is have a conversation. One thing I will say is, if you meet somebody that you're interested in, is when you leave each other, you have to have some form of communication. You don't want to just disappear on one another and never be able to correspond with that person again. If you're slightly interested in them, or interested in them a lot. Either way, you don't want to lose, like just have somebody just go in the shadow and never, And there's ways of doing that. And a lot of times if you're cool, I think social media is the way to kind of do that and say, hey, do you want to connect here or there? Or, not saying, give me your phone number. Because a lot of women, and I'm a dude, I don't like giving out my phone number. I just don't trust it. Because I think usually on social media I can block you. My phone number I could block you too, but I don't trust her giving my phone number out to a bunch of people, at least social media wise. You know what I mean? If she started being an asshole and hit up her friends to hit me up, they're going to be like, are you nuts? So that's one thing I don't think. I wouldn't get involved with exchanging phone numbers. Now, if somebody introduced you together or any of that, that's different. And even if I'm not down with blind dates. You want to talk about a guy who's anti-fucking blind date. I'll spit in someone's face. I don't give a shit who it is. I do not want to be put in a position where I'm put with a random woman I never met. And not only that, now I'm corresponding with her. Now we're both performing, or now we're interrogating one another, trying to figure out who the hell we are at this dinner. How's this? If your friends think you're cool, and her friend or whoever's fixing them, or whoever's putting you two together, why don't they go with you? You need a buffer anyways. See how they interact with that person. And why don't we just go out for drinks? Why do I have to go out and spend hundreds of dollars on a dinner with a woman on a blind date I don't know? That's ridiculous. And even if you're wealthy and you want to do your thing, you can date whoever the hell you want. I'm not saying that. You can spend as much money that you want on dates, but a lot of people don't have the extra money to become serial daters or keep taking women on dates. And a lot of times men start to take these women out to impress them, take them to places, they can't afford to consistently go to. So again, now you're performing, because usually during the week you're going to fun places to eat, that you eat in your local, what it could be your local Italian restaurant, pizzeria, could be, I don't care if it's Chick-fil-A, Chipotle, Five Guys, your burgers, like how you normally eat. A lot of men eat that way. They go to fun places. They don't have to go for steak and lobster. They don't have to go to expensive Chinese. They don't, when you first start dating, financially, it takes a toll on a lot of men. You don't have to do that. So the basis of this is basically when you want to meet a woman, how do you build up a friendship with her, or eventually then decide to start dating? And that is going to take time. I always say you first just want to meet him out for a drink with other friends, or just in other social environments, or even just going to coffee houses. A lot cheaper to go have a cup of coffee with somebody and correspond, because a lot of times in an hour or so you're going to be like, wow, this girl's a bitch, or wow, this girl's kind of cool, or whatever the case may be. It didn't cost you $150, $200. It didn't blow your whole night, right? And hypothetically, say she works out and you work out. Tell her, hey, I work out at this gym. You want to work out one day? Now you're kind of seeing how she behaves while she's working out again. Or it could be any environment that, including, like, say, this is my theory with women. And personally, I think this works the best because I grew up in the bar and nightclub business. And this goes for men too. You truly don't know someone till they're, one, you live with them. But the other thing is when you see how they interact with other people. Okay? So if you just randomly met a girl, you guys are cool, and you're like, hey, me and my buds are going out to a club this day, or we're going for drinks here. Why don't you come with your friends, or you could just come and meet us, whatever. When they get there, how are they acting? Are they flirting with your other friends? Are they drinking too much? Are they getting high? Is she talking shit about her girlfriends? How does she carry herself? And a lot of times, again, we understand they're performing. But the more you see her interacting with other people is really going to give you an idea who she truly is. Because a lot of people meet somebody and they start dating, right? So you're dating, it's just one-on-one. First date, second date, third date, whatever. If you start having sex, whatever the bullshit is, you really only know her, and you're like, wow, this one might be the one for me, or this is great. Well, guess what? When you start bringing her on other people, then a lot of times things change real fast. You see she's jealous. She may be insecure. She's too loud. Or she could be wonderful. I don't mean to throw women. Don't think I'm throwing women under the bus. That's the opposite of what I'm trying to do. And women, that goes for dudes too. Dudes sometimes are on their best behavior when they first meet you because they want to score. So a lot of times they're taking you out to dinner with, hopefully they're going to score a lot of times, or at least get a shot at it a couple times, 2, 3. But now, say you on the other end said, hey, meet me out with my girlfriends, or I'll meet you here just for a drink, or I'll meet you to do whatever you're doing. We're going to a comedy club, a group of people. Let's go there, laugh, whatever it is. When you see him interacting with his buddies, you see him interacting with other women, or even there's a bartender there. She might be a female, a waitress. I mean, besides just a waitress, you're starting to get a feel on how this guy really is. Not how he was performing just solo with you and kind of giving you a lot of things he's telling you that you want to hear, and vice versa. Or sometimes, you go on a date too. This happened with one of my buddies. He went on a date, it was horrible. I remember this is years ago. He came back, he said, that was the worst date I ever went on. And what was funny is somebody we knew, we used to be in the bar business, and somebody in the bar said they had a really beautiful girl for one of my friends, and he was exceptionally handsome, and he says, hey, we're gonna, tell him to come by, and I was always like, no, don't bother him. And they're like, no, it's worth it. And the person who was telling me this was the bar manager, and I trusted her. So they went on a date. Horrible. I think it was horrible. From what I understand, it didn't work out. He was an asshole. She was a bit, the whole bullshit. Now, fast forward, they end up meeting up again, I think out of a fluke somewhere. They ran into each other, had fun, and then ended up being married and have an incredible marriage now. A lot of times with dating, too, I think, it's the mood or kind of what you're going through a lot of times in your life kind of can come out in that date. And one date can make or break a lot of things, kind of like sex a lot of times. Your first sexual performance, I say a lot of times, your first 3, you better perform or you are out. I don't care who you are. If you suck in bed and somebody wants like sex, you get maybe 1 shot. A lot of times you're out if you suck, maybe 2 or 3, but you got to understand that's just the way it goes. And that, I think, sometimes with dating, a lot of times if your first date sucks, it just may suck. Kind of like in Goodfellas, if you remember. They went on the first date. He was too busy, preoccupied, being an asshole. And before you know it, you know what I mean, it gets ruined, and it didn't have to be ruined. Where, again, if you put something, that's a lot of stress too, I think. Who knows what happened that day or what's going on in that person's life. Where if you just become friends at the beginning, this is a friendship thing, and you go out and meet for drinks, she may be having a bad day that, you know, she could have got fired, or she could, who knows what could have happened. Something could have happened to a family member, a friend, or she just doesn't feel good that day. Whatever the case may be, you're like, hey, I get it. Next time, let's meet up, or next time we'll try this. And if they want to meet up again, maybe take it slower. The slower you take things in dating or anything, I'm telling you, the better off you're going to be. I talk about that all the time in my life. Now, that doesn't mean to snooze and lose. Like, if she starts making a move on you and you're down with her, that doesn't mean blow her off because you're an asshole. You're going to end up in a friend zone with every woman for the rest of your life. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm basically saying is, especially with sex, be very careful. Because again, you may be across dating somebody for a week or two. That's nuts, right? Or you could be getting trapped. Who the hell knows? She may want kids. Who the hell knows? She may be mentally ill. All these things you need to learn to find out who this person is and take your time doing it. How desperate is she? Why is she single, right? Especially depending on what age you are. God, orange juice is delicious. But yeah, let me see where I'm at with this. So we're at 17 minutes going on it. But yes, so again, the slower you go, I know a lot of times, and I say one night stands, they can be amazing, I'm not going to lie. Especially if they're with beautiful women. Especially if you grab two of them. It's off the chart, I'm not going to lie. Just make sure you protect yourself. But with a woman that you're interested in dating, or that you may be interested in being with, is what I should say. I mean, really interested. Take it slow. The slower you take it, I promise, the more rewarding it's going to be. And do not get caught. Most men, I hate to say it, they're interested in who's only interested in them. Did I say that right? That's usually not how I say it. They only like who likes them. So if a woman makes a move on you, you'll have sex with her. But a lot of times you don't realize you could catch a disease. You can knock her up. She may be nuts. Who knows? Again, take the time out, even if it's a month or 2 or 3. Chill out, find out, is she cool? Because then what happens too is if you can get around her, not only with her friends, right? Because her friends a lot of times are cool. You'll see how she interacts. Her friends are going to either want to block you if they don't dig you, or bring you in, right? If they like you, or let's take colleagues. See how she acts around her colleagues. So I always say, go out with, if you see a girl you're interested in, even meet them out for girls' night out with the drinks with her and her girlfriends. That doesn't mean you're going to go with them afterwards. Or if something's going on with her work, or she has an event, or something's going on, see if she'll invite you to that. Or see if you can just go to that. When you see how she acts at work, or interacting at work with her other colleagues, you're going to see a genuine side of her. Or sometimes if, say, she works in a restaurant, or she works wherever. I don't care if it's at a tire store. I don't care if she works at AT&T. I don't care if she's in a corporate position. Whatever the case may be, go to her work. Maybe bring her coffee if she's cool with it, or take her to lunch maybe, or something like that. Not some expensive dinner. And see how she carries herself at work. See how the other people at work are treating her. You can tell real fast. Do people think that this girl's a bitch? Is she a dummy? Is she acting like an asshole? Is she a snob? Is she somebody that is very well respected? Those are all the things you really want to start studying. And people, it kind of makes me laugh when people say, like online, a stalker, social media wise, you become friends with her on any social media platform, and you start looking at her old photos, and you're doing yeah, you should do that. Go back a couple years, 2-3 years. You got to Google her. If you see if she's a party girl and you're not a party guy, maybe she's not for you. Maybe, is she another way for you? Like, she may be too boring for you. Whatever the case may be, definitely do your research before you start dating women. And I remember back to that call I had, she called me out and said, hey, do you think women just date men because they want a free meal, or they're just doing it? Because that's usually not the case, because I can afford my own meals. Yeah, but I was thinking a lot of women can't afford to do a lot of things they want to do financially. So they will get men to do that, take them to those places to get that out of them, even if they don't sleep with them. And that could be drinks as well. Don't kid yourself when you're in a club and women are kind of flirting with you and you're getting drink after drink, you're buying round after round, then guess what happens usually? A lot of times they leave, they go home to their boyfriend, or they leave with somebody else. We're not playing that bullshit, and that's one of the things I teach in my Mastering Self-Confidence program. You are not there to get played. No one's going to fuck you over, not on my time, I'll tell you that much. And that doesn't mean you're a dick, that you don't buy women drinks, or if they ask you to buy them a drink. Now, if you want to do that, that's fine. You had the money to do that, and you want to impress them that way. I'm not against it, but a lot of people can't afford to do that, or they allow themselves to get taken advantage of, especially with women, because they'll start flirting with a woman, then the woman and you, or women, the group starts drinking a little too much, including you. You're both getting tipsy. By the time you're dying, we're not doing that shit. All right, that's the oldest trick in the book. And the same goes with dating. A lot of women, it's funny, and I talked about that. When a lot of women, I realize too, when dating, they a lot of times will, when you first meet them, pull out, obviously their wallet or their purse, whatever, to split it. And of course, being a gentleman, you're not going to do that a lot of times, right? And then as time goes on, it's kind of a joke. Me and my friends it kind of became a broader joke more and more and more, is, when you do first eventually, or not first, but when you're dating after a while, the man is supposed to pick up the tab a lot of times, but you'll see a lot of women, if the tab's 30 or 40 bucks and under, they're treating. Anything above, we call them crocodile arms. Their arms are inside, which is funny. That's not all women. A lot of women I know are absolutely generous. They're, if you buy dinner, they'll buy tickets to the movie and popcorn, whatever. And it's not even about money all the time. And I don't want you to think that's what I'm saying regarding dating. But the truth is, you have to protect yourself. And also, if you're going to start dating a lot of women or being seen with women, you want to make sure they're cool women. You don't want to kind of be showing up and you don't realize, like, taking them to your favorite restaurants or taking them wherever you're going and not realizing this girl was this type of person, or she's known for, it could be drugs, being a drunk, being crazy, being all these things. You just don't know it yet, right? And I'm not saying that can't be fixed, and that's same with guys. A lot of women get tied in to guys that are fucking lunatics. They don't realize it. They fall under a spell. They think for the moment this is the one, or he would never do that to me, and he would never do this to me. Well, the reality is it's happening all the time, and it's probably going to happen to you, especially if he has that type of reputation. Now, I've been through having people judge me regarding reputation all the time, and I get it, good and bad, right? And regarding that is, nobody's perfect. And just because, I will say this, a lot of women and men sometimes get a bad rap because of their past reputation. I even have close friends of mine now that still have bad reputations, that hung out in the clubs too many years, too long. That includes drugs and partying, but they're great guys. Just because they were that in the past doesn't mean they're always going to be that way. So sometimes if you do find someone and they're like, hey, this guy's been this way, that way, again, and same with women, if you take your time and things start to go fluently and you see some changes or it works for you, you can give it a shot. I mean, it's up to you, but you can give it a shot. Because especially if you're middle-aged, if we went back to our past, starting from high school to 40, 50 years old, you're out of your fucking mind to think any guy or woman is, Mother Teresa. It's insane. We've all done a lot of things we've regretted, or we regret. And we've also done a lot of good things for people as well. But nonetheless, you got to just definitely make sure you protect yourself at all costs, especially when you first meet somebody. And dating could be a blast forever. You know what I mean? Your life basically, if you end up with someone engaged, married, basically it's an extension of dating, because you're usually, now more than ever, you're going to, until you have kids, you just continuously keep You keep dating, right? You're going to dinners, you're going to the movies, you're going to shows, events, all these different things. So enjoy yourself too when dating. If you start dating someone and it sucks, right? Either you suck or they suck, or together you both suck, right? Either learn, first of all, address the elephant in the room and say, listen, when we're on dates, I don't like this or that or this. And she may be like, well, I don't like you because of this, this, and this. You're better off doing that instead of continuously being in a relationship, which is a whole nother podcast. Then keep dating somebody that you're miserable with, right? Even if the sex is great or she's beautiful, but you keep finding yourself being either taken advantage of financially or just not feeling comfortable, or you just don't trust that person, be firm and address that. Don't think that shit's going away. All that does is build up more and more and more. And if you're not married, definitely nip that in the bud before you do, if you plan on marrying this person. Or you just may have to realize, hey, this again is not the one for me. It's hard to walk away, especially if you've been dating for long periods of time, because you're in the catch-22 where, hey, that could be the one, I'm breaking this off. That could be the one that got away. Or a lot of times, a lot of men and women don't realize you just broke something off. I call it cutting the anchor or pulling up the anchor and moving on. You just dodged the biggest bullet of your life. Because sometimes if you look in hindsight, and I've seen this with a lot of women that I knew and things, but that even goes back to the old days regarding a lot of girls that I knew partied, and that could be strippers, that could be people in all different industries. And, sometimes you dodge the bullet. But a lot of times, don't be shocked too. The ones that you think aren't going to be, say, good husbands or mothers or any of that, sometimes turn out to be the best. And the ones you think were going to be great turn out to be the worst. It's very interesting, but the reality is in life, no one lives the same path, so what happens in their life can change directions. I've even had friends that never partied in that were really cool guys, very business orientated in their 20s and 30s, and then in 40s became alcoholics, they have gambling issues, it went bad for them. And then I had a lot of guys that were stoners or partiers when they were in their 20s, mid-20s, and even late 20s, maybe even 30s, that ended up great dads. So sometimes you don't really know, and it's easy to say in hindsight, oh, that was the one or that's the one. And I know a lot of us, I can't say me, I should say, but a lot of people, when you're on social media and they kind of look at all their past exes or this or that, and some may have ended up in better positions than you, and this thing, like, I'd let that one go away, or that was the one for me, and all that shit. It may have not turned out the way you think it did if you two were together. So accept it. And one of the reasons you two probably ended was for a reason. Okay? So, all right, I'm going to wrap it up there, but don't be taking advantage, men, especially when dating. You want to know more about this stuff, check out my Mastering Self-Confidence program. It's basically masteringselfconfidence.com. I get into all these different things regarding dating, and that even includes doing it on apps, dating websites, personally how to do things I believe that worked. And after being in the nightclub, bar, restaurant, and that business for my whole life basically, and the entertainment industry, I think I have a good handle on it and an understanding. That doesn't mean that I'm some psychologist or have some psychology degree on how to help people do all these things. I just think I have a blunt, honest approach that I know works, and I think it really relates to younger people all the way up to 80 years old. I used to say my program could be 18 or 80. I don't care who you are, because people are people, and I was just very fortunate to be in environments constantly around a lot of people that were dating, in relationships, out of them, a lot of cheaters, a lot of marriages, a lot of divorces, a lot of different things around a lot of people at a very young age. I'm definitely a veteran when it comes to that shit, and I'll go heads up with anybody regarding relationships, because I'm really pretty decent at analyzing that, and I have a very honest approach, and I'm very open-minded to understand things are constantly changing, where a lot of people my age, especially I'm going on 50, they want things to be like they were when they were younger. They want it to be like the 80s and 90s and 2000s, where you meet somebody and you go on a date, the first couple dates are romantic, you bring flowers or you do this and that, all the same old bullshit. You're out of your fucking mind. Those days are gone. You can use technology. It's a good thing if you want to use technology. You get to find people that have a lot of the same interests you do, and vice versa. And there's a million things I get into with that program. So, what do I got? I got like 45 hours of audio clips on there. I have 7 different levels on there. It's basically mainly all audio. You don't have to write or do anything in the program. And I go through many different things. So you can also check me out on my Rich CELENZA, I say, YouTube channel. I'm also on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook. I don't even know where else. And then we're obviously on iTunes, my podcast, and all those different places. So yeah, check me out there as well, and I appreciate you listening in. If you have any comments, disagree, please leave whatever you want to leave. Comment-wise, you need to reach out to me. Call me out on my bullshit. You want to be on my show. Whatever it takes. I could care less. But yeah, those are the things I really believe in regarding dating. It's about building friendships first with women. That's what you have to focus in on. And I know you probably weren't programmed to do that growing up. It was mainly about you being the one to go after the woman, you asking the woman out, you asking them to go on a date, you continuously keep paying to go on dates till you find the right one. Nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of other ways to go about it, especially if you're afraid to address women in environments socially, and I get that, okay? I go through that in my program. There's a lot of different ways to conquer your fears, and that doesn't mean that my program is going to be like, I'm going to teach you this and you can walk up to any woman and think you're a professional pickup artist. You could probably use it that way. I'm not going to say it doesn't work that way, but that's not what I'm there to teach you. But a lot of that stuff you can use to your advantage if you wanted to use it to that. But it's really about building up friendships first with women and just learning about this person before you start taking the next step as far as being in a relationship, especially having sex with them. All right, that's all I got for you. If you're traveling, safe travels, and I wish you nothing but the best.